of course, all of the fish reacted, right? Started swimming up to the top. Can you folks tell what we're feeding them?
Squid.
Squid is right. That's one of the delicious items on the menu. And what is this coming up from the bottom? Now that is an ocean sunfish, right? And they're not real fast swimmers. So they're really, again, we're not targeting the ocean sunfish, but nobody can tell the sunfish that it can't participate. So, you know, it does tend to get in the mix there. And it's really fun to watch. It might be going for a squid, and sure enough, a tuna will just grab it right in front of it. So we'll be rooting for Team Mola there. Now, has anyone seen some of the color changes on the mahi-mahi? Maybe a little bit, yeah. So again, when that fish gets really excited, that's what they're going to do. Now, some of you might know mahi-mahi by some other names. They're also called dorado or dolphin fish. It's the same fish. It just depends on where they're caught in the world. So depending on where you are and where you're dining, you might see these different names on a menu. So mahi-mahi, dorado, and dolphin fish. Now, you'll notice a big cloud of pink krill has just been dropped into the exhibit. Now, here we're targeting this school of anchovies and sardines. It's really a mix. So these fish are really wonderful to watch, and you'll notice how they move in and out, just like one big unit there. There's really no one leader, you know, not one follower. They kind of work off each other. Fish have something called a lateral line, which is a sensory organ down the side of their body, and it helps them detect pressure or movement in the water. So if the fish next to you moves, they're kind of moving a little bit of water. They're displacing that water. So the fish can actually feel each other moving through the water, and that's how they start to move as a unit. And you'll see that cloud will kind of disappear very quickly. Those anchovies and sardines are very efficient at gobbling up that krill. All right, now, we see lots of squid. Do you see any other food items in there? Do you see? Someone said fish, like small fish. We are feeding the tuna and the mahi. We are feeding them sardines. Now, some of you might be thinking, but wait, you have a school of sardines in here, so how is it that these animals aren't eating the other animals? Well, the idea, of course, is that if you keep these animals well fed, really the impetus to hunt isn't there. So these animals are all very well fed, and of course it's much easier to capture a sardine, right, that's kind of floating down as opposed to one that's moving. So at times these animals aren't going to put forth the energy to capture those live sardines when they have that fresh frozen one right there in front of their face. All right, now we also have some slower swimmers in here. We do have a couple other species of shark. We have hammerheads, we have Galapagos. Like I said, we saw the ocean sunfish and of course our white shark. Again, don't worry if you don't think these animals are getting any food. We do target them. So generally what happens is the sharks, as they swim around the perimeter of the exhibit, they're swimming around the outside. What we'll do with them is we tie salmon steak to a pole. It's restaurant quality salmon steak. I don't know who wouldn't eat that, right? And so we kind of drag it in front of the sharks. If they're hungry, then they'll take it. If they're not, they'll push it away. Sharks have a pretty slow metabolism, so sometimes